Sadashivasamarambham Shankaraachaarya madhyamam Asmadaacharya paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. त्रैलोक्यनाथ हरिमीड्यमुदार सत्वं शक्तेस्तनूजतनयं परमेष्ठिकल्पं जीमूतमुक्तविमलाम्बरचारुवर्णं वासिष्ठमुग्रतपसं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्. We were looking at the verse 163, I think. 162, 163, these verses are actually talking about Atma Swarupa or the Paramartha Satyam. Paramartha means the ultimate reality, you can say. So what is the standpoint, the ultimate standpoint, you can say, or in fact that cannot be called even a standpoint. Okay. A standpoint is only if you don't know the entire view, I think, or even if you know the entire view only, you can even talk about a standpoint. Otherwise, you are not going to understand what it is. So here, when we talked about gaining this knowledge, then we say that your ignorance has to be destroyed, correct? Ignorance has to go away. Then the question comes, then is Atma ignorant? Because this is a big discussion in the tradition. Understand that if you want to get into the details of this, there are thousands of pages you can study, and still there are many different views and they don't come to any consensus. You have to accept any one of that. Whatever makes sense to you, you accept that. Correct? Only we can only say that much, because both sides will be quoting different texts, or the way they look at the same text will be different. So for example, when we talk about ignorance, two things have to be discussed, correct? In fact, one, there is no confusion. What is the ignorance about? What is the ignorance Vishaya, we say, correct? What is the subject of your ignorance? Means suppose I say Chinese ignorance. Means Chinese is the Vishaya, correct? Chinese, I do not know Chinese means my ignorance is with reference to Chinese. So Chinese is the Vishaya or subject or whatever object of ignorance, you can say, correct? The object of the ignorance is Chinese when I talk about Chinese ignorance, but the ignorance itself is in me, correct? I am the locus of the ignorance. When I say I do not know Chinese, Chinese is the object of ignorance and I am the locus or the ashraya. Okay, so whenever we talk about ignorance, we have to talk about Vishaya and ashraya. Now, nobody has doubt about the Vishaya because we all say the ignorance is with reference to Brahman. Okay, because we cannot say ignorance, there is total ignorance with reference to Atma. Because everybody thinks I know myself, correct? Even the ignorant person, if you go and ask him, do you know yourself, means he says, yes, I know myself. That I know myself as this body, mind, sense complex, etc. is a different thing. But at least I think that I know myself. So Atma itself is not a completely unknown Vishaya for us. But there is a certain wrong notion with reference to oneself. And then we say, but Brahman is completely unknown. Only Shastra has to introduce Brahman to me, correct? As Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma or Janmadhyasya Yataha, correct? Yatova Imani Bhutani Jayante, from which everything is born, by which everything is sustained, into which everything resolves, that is Brahman, which is limitless. All this Brahman is introduced to me as something Paroksha only, initially it is. But then the Shruti says that Brahman is not separate from you. because there is only one Chaitanyam. There is no second Chaitanyam which you can objectify, and Shastra also says Ekameva Advitiyam. So it is one non-dual, partless whole, which is yourself. That is the teaching. Now in this, if you say Brahman is not known, that I am Brahman is not known, correct? That is the ignorance. So the object of ignorance or the Vishaya of ignorance is Brahman. Everybody is happy to accept that. Even Dvaitins accept that. Understand that. Dvaitins also talk about ignorance and knowing Paramatma properly. So, so that you can go to whatever, and then you do some upasana and all that, and you have to go to some Swarga or wherever it is. That's there. But even everybody in our tradition talks about a certain ignorant state and a knowledgeable state. Okay, we can say. And for them also it is that you do not know Hari is the whatever greatest God and all that, correct? Or he is the only Ishvara. All these are there. Or Shiva is the Parameshwara. Like this, Dvaitins also talk about all this Ajnata Avastha and Jnata Avastha. So there is a state of being ignorant and then you are knowledgeable. In that, the Vishaya for the ignorance is Brahman. But where is this ignorance? Then where is this? What is the locus? Ashraya. Means Bhashyakara in the Brihadaranyaka in one place says very clearly there is ignorance can reside only in a conscious being, correct? And there is no other conscious being other than Brahman. So the at least the Vivarana Sampradaya which we follow, we say that Brahman is both Vishaya and Ashraya for Ajnanam. But understand, this is only from the standpoint of Ajnanam. Is that clear? It is only from the Vyavahara, standpoint of the Vyavahara, where we accept the perception of duality, that we say that Brahman is both Vishaya and Ashraya of Ajnanam. Others say, how can Brahman be ignorant? This ignorance is itself only we are talking about in the ignorant dasha. Understand that. In reality, Brahman has no ignorance. Everybody accepts that. So I don't see why there is a problem. But even for some people, even in Vyavahara, they are not able to accept that Brahman can be ignorant. Therefore, they say that Jiva alone is ignorant. There is a view like that. Okay, Brahman cannot be the Ashraya. It can only be Vishaya. But the individual conscious being is the one who is ignorant, which is also okay in one way. I don't see a problem in that. Okay. But anyway, is there ignorance and knowledge for Brahman? This question comes, correct? No, that is what actually Acharya is addressing here. In 162, 63 and all that, he says, you can talk about day and night, light and darkness and all that, correct? In fact, you can even talk about day and night only because there is sun. Then there is a question, is there day and night for the sun? Because night itself is there because sun is somewhere blocked and all that, correct? Sun is covered in some way, that's why night is there. When the covering is gone, daylight is there, day is there. But from the standpoint of the sun itself, sun is always bright, correct? It doesn't mean that at night sun has suddenly stopped shining. From the standpoint of the sun, there is no day or night or anything. Is that clear? Sun is always the luminous entity only. So that's what he says here. Rajani diyasau na raver bhavataha, he says. For the Ravi, for the sun, there is no night or day. Because prabhaya satatam yutaha. It is always having this luminosity, brightness. Prabha is there. So how can it have any night or day? Similarly, all this ajnanam, aviveka, viveka gunav, the being ignorant or being knowledgeable, etc., has no meaning with reference to Atma. Atma is always the consciousness through which only I even know whether I know or I do not know, correct? Whether I know, even ignorance also is Sakshi Bhasya, we say, because I know I am ignorant. How do you know? Means I know because I witness it. As the witnessing consciousness, I am aware of ignorance also. I am aware of my knowledge also. So that awareness is me, for which there is neither ignorance nor knowledge. Is that clear? That's what the Acharya is saying here. So Nitya Drishehe Ravehe Iva Na Bhavataha Aviveka Viveka Gunau Api. So for this consciousness, which is always of the same nature, okay, to which everything becomes evident, even ignorance also becomes evident to it, knowledge also becomes evident to it, therefore it cannot have any ignorance or knowledge in reality. And then 163 also we saw, I think, Parishuddha Vibuddha Vimukta Drishehe अविवेक विवेक विवर्जनतः मम बंध विमोक्ष गुणौ भवतः न कदाचिदपि इति अवगच्छ भृशम. So okay, even if you say there is no ignorance and knowledge and all that, but still who is now getting moksha? The whole pursuit is of freedom. We are saying there is bandha, bondage is there, you have to become free and all that. If you say there is no knowledge also, there is no ignorance, who became bonded and who attained freedom? Means even that is all only in the realm of vyavahara. In reality, paramarthataha, Atma is already Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhava and all we say, correct? Parishuddha, he says. So Parishuddha means it is always pure. Means it can never become tainted by ignorance or anything else. This should, see, sometimes when we say this is pure milk and all that, means it at least has the possibility that milk can be adulterated. Therefore, we have to say it is pure milk, correct? Adulteration is possible, or sometimes it is already adulterated, you have somehow purified it, then also you can say it is pure, something is pure. But Atma is not like that. It is never subjected to any adulteration or any taint or anything like that. It is always pure. It can never be, because it is partless, it can never be tainted. Understand that. It is nirgunaha nishkala, correct? It doesn't have any parts. So it is parishuddha, and it is always of the same nature, vibuddha. It is conscious, and it is free also, because it is not connected to anything. It is ananta, it is vimukta also. So that is drishe. Hey, drishi is the word which Acharya here is constantly using for Atma, the seer. Okay, seer here means not the one who is actually doing the activity of seeing, but one who has the ability to see, the awareness or consciousness, which is the seer, who is the seer of sight itself, correct? That's what we have to understand. One who knows whether eyes are functioning or not, one who knows ears are hearing or not, that is the seer we are talking about here. Drishehe aviveka viveka vivarjanataha, one who does not have any aviveka or viveka or anything, because already always pure and always conscious and always already free from all kinds of taints and all that. Therefore, for me, there is no bandha or vimoksha or anything. There is no bondage or no freedom from that. That is the truth, in fact. You may have thought that you are bound, but even that is only due to ignorance. Only in ignorance we can talk about bondage and freedom and all that. Once you gain that knowledge, you find that you are never bound to start with, correct? So there is no bondage or any. So he says kadachidapi iti avagacha bhrisham. So you know very well that you were never bound, and therefore you can also never be having any issue that I have to become free, etc. In fact, the same thing, our Mandukya Karika also, our Acharya says, Gaudapada Acharya, correct? Na nirodho, na chotpattihi, na baddho, na cha sadhakaha. Correct? So there is nothing, something which is restraining you or binding you. And also there is nothing which is born newly. And then there is no sadhaka also. It's that you made lot of effort to gain this knowledge and all that, but even that is not there, he says. Namumukshuhu navai muktaha ityesha paramarthata. Like that, there is a verse. If you go to the Vaitatya Prakaranam only, I think, in the end of the Vaitatya Prakaranam, Nanirodho nachotpattihi nabaddho nacha sadhakaha namukshur navai muktaha ityesha paramarthata. So this is what our Gaudapadacharya says. A very important verse. Same thing is said here. That in reality there is nothing. So continuing in the same manner, न मम ग्रहणोज्झनमस्ति मया न परेण दृशेरिति निश्चिनुभोः न हि कस्यचिदात्मनि कर्म भवेत् न च कश्चिदिहास्ति मदन्य इति. Okay, you say that okay, there is no bondage, there is no moksha and all that. Then, but still some people may say, okay, you are neither ignorant nor knowledgeable, all that is fine, but still you have to attain that state of what? Being like that. Okay, you have to join with the Paramatma. The Jivatma has to merge into Paramatma. You have to attain that state. You have to do some whatever. In the white heat of meditation only, you can attain that, all that. Okay, even that is negated now. Acharya is very clear. What you na mama grahana ujjanamasti. Okay, so you cannot gain this atma. There is nothing to gain. You are already that. Correct. The gaining is purely in terms of knowledge. You don't have to do anything for gaining this. So there is grahana ujjanam and all is not there. Okay. So it can neither be attained. Ujjanam means you are abandoning or leaving it. Correct. You can neither attain this Atma nor you can leave your Swarupa. You are always the same. Correct. You are never not conscious. You are always the same conscious being, whether anything is there to be known or not. Your nature never changes. That's why you are Satyam. So you can never give up your nature, nor is there anything to be gained either by you or by anybody else, he says, or with reference to anybody else also. Maya na parena drishehe iti nischinubhoho, he says. Okay, so neither anybody else can attain you or gain you, because in Dvaita there is Paramatma, Jivatma and all that, correct? There are two things. So basically they are saying the Jivatma has to attain the Paramatma. Means two things are there. But we don't accept any two or anything. There is only Atma alone is there and it is already gained. It is already Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhava, we said. Therefore, there is nothing to be attained, nothing to be given up, neither by yourself or by somebody else. Understand that there is no somebody else, in fact. That's what he will say in the next line. Because he says, Nahi kasyachid atmani karma bhavet. So here karma is the grammatical karma. So with reference to Atma, there is no object, or it can never be objectified, correct? So for anybody, this Atma never becomes an object of knowledge. It is always the eternal subject, or even it is not even the subject, because the status of being subject also is only when there is an object. So the subject-object interdependent duality itself is dependent on this Atma alone, which is independent of any subject and object. So Atma is the very Swarupa of the subject. Therefore, it can never become the object. In fact, that is the whole Vedanta sadhana, correct? I keep telling all of you, Vedanta is very simple. The only thing you have to keep alert or be alert to is the reality that I am not whatever I know. That's all. There is no other sadhana required in Vedanta. You can keep it very simple. Whatever I know as an object is not I. In that, your body, mind, sense complex also is included. It also includes all your joys and sorrow also. So it's because you know your sorrow, you are not sorrowful. That is the Vedantic logic. which is very difficult, correct? If somebody is suffering, you cannot go and tell that fellow, do you know you are suffering, means he will say yes. Then you should not say, therefore you are not suffering. They will not be able to accept it, okay? But that's the truth. Once you become the student of Vedanta and you understand your own reality, whatever I know is not I. Just hold on to that. That's all is required. And that I is Satyam anyway. Everything else becomes automatically Mithya, because these things come and go. I alone is there as it is always. Once you have ascertained I as a conscious being, that consciousness never changes. Everything else changes. Therefore, it alone is Satyam. Everything else do not count. They do not count really. They are all Mithya. So it alone is there, really speaking. So kaschid iha asti mad anyaha na kaschid iha asti. So there is nothing here other than me. Okay, that is the truth, because everything else cannot be counted really. It's all only Mithya. I alone, I am the Satya Vastu. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Aham Asmi. That is the truth. So hold on to that. That's all is required. Everything else is only whatever. You may still involve in some debates and scholarly activities and all that. It doesn't really matter. Understand that. Because what I have found is there is no conclusion in any of these debates also. People are debating, holding on to whatever they want to hold on to. Very few people are really open, or then they sometimes after many years, some people change also. I have seen this. But then don't think that they have changed because of you debating them or anything. Something happened within themselves, they changed. That's it. But initially, sometimes all these things may be useful for you to have certain conviction or clarity. But beyond that, it's a waste of time, really. Okay, so you have to only focus on your own moksha rather than debating anybody else. Even if you think that they are wrong and all that, it is their problem. It's not really your problem. And you are not there to correct anybody, really speaking. Unless somebody comes to you and says that they are your Sishya and all that, then you can at least talk to them. Otherwise, you have to just let go. Anyway, so this is very clear here. There is nobody other than me. Atma can never be an object of knowledge or object of any action also. Therefore, Atma can neither be attained nor can it be given up or anything. It is as it is. Okay, further what? Ahamasmi charastira dehadhiyam charitasya sadekshaka eka iti na bhaveda tayeva madanya iti twamavehi sumedha idam sudridham. Okay, so you said there is nobody other than this Atma. How can you say this? Okay, because there are many sentient beings other than me. I see all these beings. Brahmadi Stambha Paryantaha, we say always in the Shastra, correct? Starting from Brahma to a grass, everything is there. Means, again, what this has been explained already. Okay, Aham Asmi. Okay, Charasthira Dehadhyam. Charasthira means what? Those which are moving animals. Sthira means that which is there in one place, like plants and trees and all that. And there are so many bodies, correct? Plant body is there, animal bodies are there, and within them there are whatever, some rudimentary consciousness is there in plants. Animals, better evolved intellect and all is there. So charasthira deha dhyam charitasya, and their activities are there. Body, mind, sense complexes are active. Okay. So there are many body, mind, sense complexes in which activities are going on. But what? There is only one Atma, one consciousness which is lighting up all that. Sadaikshaka eka iti. Know that there is only one Sadvastu, one Chaitanyam. Aikshakaha means the one who sees, which is Jnanam, correct? So the Satyam Jnanam, Anantam Brahma, Atma is only one. Now this is said in the Gita also, correct? Yata prakashayat ekaha kritsnam lokam imam ravihi kshetram kshetri tata kritsnam prakashayati bharata. Same analogy is used there also. There is only one sun which is lighting up everything. Okay. There may be many mediums which may be reflecting the sunlight also, and again that doesn't mean there are many suns. Like that, the kshetrajnaha is only one. Kshetram, kritsnam kshetram. All the kshetras, the field, body, mind, sense complex are all, it is only kshetram. All that is lighted up by only one kshetrajna. Kshetram, kshetri, tata kritsnam prakashayati. The kshetri or the kshetrajnaha is only one. All the kshetra are lighted up by that. Therefore, what? Na bhaved ataha eva madanyaha iti. Therefore, know that there is nothing other than me. Tvam avehi sumedha. Hey Sumedha. Now he is addressing the Shishya. Sumedha means what? One who has proper intellect, correct? Sumedha. One who has Sushtu. Medha is there. Good intellect. Proper intellect is there for this person. You know this. Idam sudridam. Know this very firmly. Dridham. Sudridam also. Very firmly you know this, that there is nothing other than yourself. Okay. But still what? Even if only one Atma is there, it can still be tainted. It can still be tainted means or whatever. It can be covered and all that. But then for that also he is giving another analogy in the next. Gagane vimale jaladadi matehe sativa sativa nabhidasti yatha त्वयि सर्वगते परिशुद्ध दृशौ न भिदास्ति तथा द्वयभेद कृता. So gagane vimale jaladadi matehe sati. Okay, jaladaha means cloud, adi means cloud, etc. Etc. means you can take smoke and all that. Okay, or whatever. Nowadays air pollution and all, we talk about dust, smoke, smog, all that we are talking about, correct? Fog and smog. All these things are there. Where? Gagane, in the sky, in the space, but it is still Vimala only, correct? Vimale Gagane means what? Whatever may be there, even though you talk about pollution, air pollution, the space itself is not polluted or tainted or anyway touched, correct? It cannot be touched because it is very subtle. The subtlest element is space for us. So whatever may be there, whether it is there or not, he says, Sativa asativa na bhida asti yatha. Okay, in the space itself, there is no division also, correct? You may think that space is divided by different parts and all that, part space and all we talk about. Even though we talk about part space, or in some portion of space is there, it is polluted, cloud is there, in another portion it is not there and all that, but still it is neither tainted nor divided. Space is indivisible, one whole only always. Similarly, what? Tvayi sarvagate parishuddha drishau na bhida asti tatha dvayabheda krita. So even though all these upadhis we talked about in the previous verse, correct? The conditioning factors are there. They are many, but they cannot create any division in you. Bheda cannot be created because you are all pervading and you are always pure, means you are untouched, untainted. You cannot, this Atma cannot be touched by anything. Therefore, there is no bhida asti, na bhida asti means what? There is no division, there is no bheda. Even though there are dvayabheda krita means what? Dvayabheda krita are the upadhis. All the conditioning factors are the one which actually, as though they create duality and division. But in reality, the Atma is all pervading and it can never be touched by anything. Now the same thing is there in the Gita, in the 13th chapter. If you see, before this yatha prakashayat ekaha, I said, correct? Before that verse, there is in the end of the 13th chapter, there is another verse. Yatha sarvagatam saukshmyad akasham nopalipyate. Sarvatravastito dehe tathatma nopalipyate. Like this, it is there. Gita also, same thing is there. Sarvagatam saukshmyat. Sarvagatam, this akasha is sarvagata. It is all pervading and it is also subtle. Therefore, it is not touched. Na upalipyate. Even though it is similarly Atma also. Tatatma, even though this Atma is there in all the body, mind, sense complex, it is not a samsari or it is not in any way tainted by whatever is happening in the body, mind, sense complex. Like even the sun also is not tainted by where it is getting reflected, correct? Where, whatever may be the reflecting media, you cannot say sun itself is tainted by that. So like this, anyway, so there is no Veda or taint or anything in this Atma. But now even here again there is a problem. Everywhere you can have a problem. Okay. So now you are talking about all this Upadhi and Upahita, correct? Conditioning factors and the conditioned consciousness. And consciousness itself is there and all that. Now is there not Dvaita? Dvaita Hani is there means no. Because it doesn't count really. It is not of the same order of reality. So he goes back to that. He says, Anritam dvayamitya vadama pura vyavaharam apekshatu geetamidam anritena na satyam upaiti yujam na marichi jalena na dihradini. So, Anritam dvayam iti avadama. So he says pura. Already long back we started, I don't know how many weeks back. So I can also say long back, our Acharya has already said, Anritam Dvayam, all this duality is all Anritam, it is unreal. It is Avadama, I told you already, Pura. And all this duality also we are only talking by in the Vyavahara Dasha only, correct? Vyavaharam Apekshya. So only provisionally we talk about it as though it is real. Everything is only as though Yatra Dvaitam Iva Pashyati only, Brihadaranyaka also says, correct? So there is a as though Dvaitam is there, and as though bondage is there, as though freedom also is given to you. Everything is as though, that's why we say na baddhaha, na mumukshuhu and all that, correct? Na nirodho, na chotpattihi. All this should be clear to you. So therefore, even the Vyavahara between Acharya and Sishya, also the teacher, student and all that also is only in Vyavahara. Paramarthataha, there is no teacher or student or anybody. And by this unreal, the real can never be touched, correct? So previously we talked about analogies like sun and space and all that. In those analogies, the problem is that the the smoke and cloud are equally real, correct? Like the space is. So there you should not go into that aspect of that. The space analogy is only to say that space itself is untainted by anything else. Therefore, Atma is also similar. It doesn't mean that then Atma and the Upadhis are of the same order of reality. That mistake you should not do. Similarly, sun and reflecting medium also are all similar. Correct? You can say that there is one sun, okay, it is lighting up everything else. Then what? This Atma and all the body, mind, sense complexes are also, they are of the same order of reality or not. That question can come. But the analogy does not extend to that. Therefore, again we have to come back to rope snake, Marich Udakam, all these things. There, that is again we have to say to show that the multiplicity, the duality is only Anritam, unreal. So again he has come back to that. Anritena na satyam upaiti yujam means what? The real can never be connected or related to the unreal in any manner. Like even the rope has no connection to snake. The rope snake, whatever you see, you cannot say this rope is really joined with the snake or anything, correct? Or you see, here he is giving Marichi Jalena Nadi Hradini. Hradini Nadi. Marichi jalena na upaiti yujam means what? You have a very deep river. Okay, now you say because of mirage water it has become deeper. Can you say that? No. The river has water, but that river water has no connection to mirage water. Mirage water cannot go and join the river water and make it deeper or anything. Correct? There is no connection. Like that, whatever all this upadhi and all that, it's all mithya. It cannot taint the atma. It has no connection to atma also. Atma is asangaha, and it cannot be counted also as a second thing. There is no second thing really. That is the reality. Okay, continuing. Bahuna bihitena kimu kriyate shrinu sangrahamatra vadami tava त्वयि जागरित प्रवृत्ति त्रितयम् परिकल्पितमित्य सदेव सदा. Okay, then परिकल्पितमित्य सदित्युदितं मन इत्यभिशब्दितमागमतः उपपत्तिभिरेव च सिद्धमतो भवतोऽन्यदशेषमभूतमिति. So this 168 and 169 basically is summarizing the entire teaching now. Okay, and he is saying now, okay, I have now taught you in so much detail. Okay, everything has been, whatever has to be taught has been taught. So bahuna abhihitena kimu kriyate, he says. Shrinu sangraham atra vadami tava. So I am now going to tell you this briefly, okay? Because I have now told you everything in lot of detail. Because up to what, some 167 verses we have covered, okay? In this, if you go back to verse 110 or something, there we started talking about these three states also. How the three states are there, but the three states are not for Atma really. It is all only for the body, mind, sense complex. So that also is referring here. Jagarita Prabriti Tritayam means what? The three states. Twayi Parikalpitam, he says. The entire waker and the waking world, dreamer, dream world, sleeper and all that. And the causal world, you can say. Everything is only Parikalpita. It is all only appearance. Okay. So they are not real. There is nothing real in fact. Okay. These three states we discussed. And when you analyze that, we analyzed it for understanding the real meaning of I, correct? So, when you analyze that, you know that it is parikalpitam means what? Superimposed, you can say, correct? It is all adhyastha. Parikalpita means adhyastha means superimposed. So, all these three states and whatever the experiencer of the three states also, all of this is only superimposed on Atma always. So, that's what you have to understand. So, this has been taught to you. What is there to be told more, he says. Kimu abhihitena bahuna means what? There is nothing more to be argued or debated or taught or anything. So this is also what I said. Once you have a certain clarity, you don't have to go and engage with anybody also. In fact, you don't even have to go and teach anybody really. If somebody comes to you, you can teach. You should not have any pressure. Some people, once they know, then sometimes you can have a pressure initially that, okay, I have now known this. I have to go and like a missionary zeal can be there. It's okay. But of course, you with all the missionary zeal, you will go, but you will be disappointed because people have to be interested. So this knowledge can only be given if somebody asks you. It cannot be preached. So whoever comes to you, you can teach. And even for them, you can teach up to a certain level. Then they have to work out themselves. They have to understand it, correct? It has to become their vision. You can share your vision. You as a teacher, you are operating the pramana basically. The pramana will work. It has to work. If it has worked for you, it has to work for others. But it will work in its own time, I think. So there also you cannot have any expectation even from your students, really speaking. So bahuna abhiyetena kimu kriyate. What is to be done now? Just now listen. This is the sangraha he is saying. I will now state it briefly, the summary. So sangramatra vadami tava. So all these three states are parikalpita, superimposed. Further what? Parikalpitam iti asadityuditam. So whatever is superimposed is only asat. It is all unreal. Okay. And how do you know means what? I know it from the Shastra and also logic. So parikalpitam iti asad iti uditam mana iti abhishabditam agamataha. So all this, whatever is called the mind, okay, mind and whatever is known through the mind also, everything is only superimposed on this Atma. I told you both subject and object are interdependent, and whatever you think the subject is and the object is, that isness itself is you only. You are the one who gives existence to both the subject and object. That is you. That's what one has to now understand. Therefore, the subject object duality itself is superimposed on me. That's all you have to understand. And because of that, it is asat only. It is all unreal. So understand this. And how did you get this knowledge? Means agamataha. Shruti is the main pramana for this, correct? From the agama we got it, but also reinforced by upapatti bihi eva. Upapatti logic is very useful to establish at least the world is mithya. Okay. So upapatti bihi eva cha siddham ataha bhavataha anyad ashesham abhutam iti. Therefore, anything other than you, ashesham means what? Everything, without leaving anything behind. All the other things other than you, it is all abhutam, means again abhutam is anrutam. It does not really there. Whatever is other than you, bhavataha anyat, ashesham, completely, totally. Anything other than you is totally not there, completely not there. That is the reality. It has been established by Shruti and Yukti. Agamataha upapattibihi siddham. Okay. Then what? Now he is finally giving again the Atma Swarupa, which is nothing but Brahma Swarupa, correct? Yadabahyam anantarame karasam yadakaryam akaranam advayakam yadashesha vishesha vihinataram drishirupamanantam ritam tadasi. So, yad abahyam anantaram ekarasam akaryam akaranam advayakam. So all negative only. Abahyam means what? Nothing exterior to it, external. Anantaram means what? Nothing internal also. Okay. It doesn't have any external, exterior or interior. Means what? It is free from the concept of space itself. It transcends spatial limitations. So Atma doesn't have anything internal to it or anything external to it. And is one homogeneous thing, ekarasam, means it doesn't have any parts within it or any differences internally also within it. And it is not an effect of anything else, nor is it a karana, or it itself does not, see, when we say it is not an effect, we say that it is not a karana. It doesn't have any karana, correct? Only that which has a cause can be called an effect. So akaryam means it doesn't have a cause of itself, and akaranam means it doesn't become a cause also. So all the karya karana prakriya we see, correct? Even Brahman has a tatastha lakshanam of, we say janmadhyasya yatha, means we present Brahman initially only as the jagat karanam Brahma. But all that is only a teaching device. Understand that. In reality, Brahman is neither karanam nor karyam. And it is advayam. There is no duality in this. Just saying one also is not enough. Okay. There is only one space in the world. That doesn't mean there is nothing else other than it, correct? That's why when we talk about Atma, Ekam Eva Advitiyam, all three words are important. Because we have to negate all the three kinds of Veda. Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bheda we say, correct? There is no other thing within the same species. There is no other species. And within its also there is no division. It's partless whole. So that is the Advayakam. And yet Ashesha Vishesha Vihinataram means what? Completely all qualities it doesn't have. It is Nirgunaha. Correct? Ashesha Vishesha Vihina means it is bereft of all the qualities which you can think of. And it is Drishi Rupam. It is only of the nature of consciousness, Ekarasam. Prajnana Ghanam, we say, correct? Saindava Ghana and all is used even in the Brihadaranyaka as an analogy. That salt crystal is completely salty, correct? There is no that here it is salty, there it is not salty, it is not like that. Like that, Atma also it is Prajnana Ghana, we say. It is that Ghana Shabda is for homogeneity. Okay, it is dense. Ghanam can be used in the meaning of dense also. Dense means what? It is the same everywhere. It doesn't vary internally or whatever. As an entity also within itself, there is no variation or whatever. Okay, that is this Atma, Drishi Rupam, Anantam. It is limitless, doesn't have any limitation with reference to space, time, or objects. And that reality, Ritam, it is Satyam. Okay, Satyam Jnanam Anantam only, Drishi Rupam Anantam Ritam. In other words, correct? The Taittiriya talks about Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Here Drishi Rupam is Jnanam, Anantam is there, and Ritam is Satyam really. And that Satya Vastu is yourself, Tadasi. Like this, he says, even this Yad Abhahyam, Anantaram and all this, these things are also from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Okay. So Brihadaranyaka, it is there. Tadetad Brahma, Apurvam, Anaparam, Anantaram, Abhahyam, Ayamatma Brahma, Sarvanubhuhu. Like this, it is there in the, I think, 2nd chapter, 5th Brahmana. This Brihadaranyaka Shruti is there. So this is all based on that only, this Abhahyam, Anantaram, Ekarasam and all that. So with this, the teaching is complete. And there are a few more verses. Okay, we'll complete this next week then. The teaching is complete with this. And then there some more things are there now. The Guru will say that I have now told you everything from the Upanishad and I have not left behind anything. That is important. So sometimes students always think that Guru knows more than me, or Guru is not teaching everything to me, has kept something hidden. Okay, so with reference to Brahman, it is not possible. Understand that. With reference to everything else, the Guru may not teach you everything, but Atma is the only thing which can be conveyed completely, correct? It is the partless whole. Once you understand that, there is nothing more which can be conveyed about this Atma. There is nothing left to be conveyed, really speaking. It is the only thing which can be completely taught. Every other subject matter, whatever I may teach you, there is always something, even I don't know myself, and you will also not know it completely. Because one more why or what, etc., one more question if you ask, you are stuck. So objective knowledge is always incomplete. Atma Jnanam alone can be completely conveyed and taught and understood also. So all this will come. And again he will do Guru Namaskara, etc. Because you can talk about Advaita, but there is a saying in the tradition. But Advaita should not be practiced with reference to Guru. Guru is always Guru. You have to respect the Guru. And there is a verse also for that. So all that we will see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद जी.
धन्यवाद जी.